The slides have been shared already now. So I hope we all can see the screen. The take now is PHT 109, Dispensing Calculations and Business Maths. That is the course we're about to take. So let's proceed. Now, if I'm too fast, you can call my attention. If you have any reservation, any question at any point, you can also call my attention, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the learning objectives. By the time we're done with this particular lesson today, I expect that we should be able to explain what dispensing of dispensing calculations and business maths in pharmacy, right? We should be able to understand what dispensing calculations are. We should also be able to understand what business maths are. And we should be able to, that is our learning objective for today. Next slide. So, next slide, please. So what is dispensing calculation? What is dispensing calculation? Next slide. Dispensing calculation. Good. Dispensing calculation form the backbone of safe and effective pharmaceutical practice. Right? They involve applying mathematical principles to accurately prepare and dispense medications in the correct dose, strength, and quantity as prescribed. Now, I understand there is another course on prescription, and I want to believe that you have done introduction on that course so that I don't bother stressing what prescription is, right? But for the sake of this course, you will dispense what has been prescribed, right? Now, assuming a doctor, a pharmacist, or any other medical experts have written an order, a drug order, to be given to a patient, that drug order is what we refer to as the prescription. Now, for you to dispense properly, you need to have a good understanding of dispensing calculation, right? Because some drugs come in some doses or in some other ways that you may need to convert for you to dispense properly, right? Now we'll continue. Errors in these calculations can have serious consequences, but for patient safety, making proficiency in this area essential for pharmacists and pharmacy technicians as well. Just like I've said earlier, you dispense what has been prescribed. If you don't have a good understanding of dispensing calculation, or you make errors in your dispensing calculation, it means that patient safety is at risk, right? So because of patient safety, that actually makes proficiency in this area essential for pharmacy technician and pharmacists as well. Now, what are common areas of dispensing calculation? Now remember, before I continue, today's class is about introducing this course to you, right? Just a brief of it. We're meant to understand what dispensing calculation is, what business math is, and just a brief about the little area. Please, Rose, mute your audio. Rose, please mute your audio. Okay, so what are the common areas in dispensing calculation? One of the common areas in dispensing calculation is what? Is dosage calculation. Dosage calculation. So this one is done to determine the appropriate dose based on patient-specific factor, whether it's the age, whether it's the weight or body surface area. Now, you remember vividly that there are some medications you see. You find out that the prescription is written according to weight. Okay, let's take, for instance, some of the anti-malaria. You see less than 25, less than 15 kg, maybe one tablet. 15 to 25 kg, two tablets. Above 25 kg, maybe 25 kg to 50 kg, three tablets. So you find out that they're now using the weight of the person as a criteria for the dosage calculation. Some other criteria could be age, right? Is the person a child? Is the person an adult? Is the person an elderly person? Like very old person, above 65, 70 and above, right? So determining the appropriate dose based on patient-specific factor, such as age, weight, and body surface area, is one of the ways we can apply dosage calculation. So example, for a pediatric dose, you have weight of the child in kilogram divided by 70 times the adult dose. Now, this particular formula can simply be used to calculate a pediatric dose. Now, there are other formulas, but just like I said, this is just an intro. There's another formula that instead of looking at the weight of the child, it will look at the age of the child, right? So when we proceed, just this is an intro. Let's have just a brief peep on them. When we go details, we'll get those other formulas out. Then another common area is concentration and dilution. Concentration and dilution. Now, this one is for preparing solutions of specific strengths using this particular formula. Now, the formula is C1V1 equals to C2V2, where C is concentration and V is the volume. Now, you may actually have a prescription written in a different volume or concentration. So your ability to understand your dispensing calculation will help you to prepare either a dilution or to know the required concentration to give when you've done your dispensing calculation properly. So this is another area where we apply dispensing calculation on concentration and dilution. Next slide, please. We can also apply it on next slide. Next slide, please. We can also apply dispensing calculation in the area of percentage strength. In the area of the other area where dilution calculation can be applied. In this particular instance, we're as percentage of weight. So that is another area where dispensing calculation can be applied. Another common area where dispensing calculation can be applied is what the conversion of units. In conversion of units. In our class yesterday, where we were looking at measurements in pharmacy, we said that we can measure in different systems. We can measure in the metric system, the apothecary system, the avoidable system, and the household system, right? Now, those are systems of measurement and they have their different units. If you have a prescription written, let's say, for instance, switching in the apothecary system, and you need to convert it to the metric system to get your proper dosage, what do? You need to have knowledge of the conversion units. You need to have knowledge of the conversion units. Just like as you're seeing on the screen now. The metric system, the apothecary, and the household system, they are different systems and they have different units of measurement. So your ability to convert from one unit of measurement to the other, from milligram to gram, from milliliter to liter, or from one system of measurement to other, maybe from the metric system to the apothecary system, or from the apothecary system to the household system, or from the household system to the avoidable system, is actually another key area in dispensing calculation. And that is what applies when we talk about conversion of units. Another area in dispensing calculation is what? Rate of infusion. Another area where we apply dispensing calculation is what? In rate of infusion. When we say rate of infusion, what do we mean? There are drug formulations that are taken, like they are taken through infusion, like our drips, right? Like our drip. You have a certain volume of drip to take within a certain time range. And that is the prescription that has been written. And you ought to dispense it. So what do you do? So you need to understand how to calculate your rate of infusion. So when you calculate the IV drip rates per minute or per hour, that is how you get done with that. So calculating intravenous drip rates, either drops per minute or milliliter per hour. How many milliliter of this particular drug are you supposed to infuse into the patient within 1 hour? That will be written in your prescription. So you that is dispensing ought to understand how to do your dispensing calculation using rates of infusion to be able to get it on point. Powder and capsule calculation. You know, some of our capsules, you have powder inside of them. There's some too, you have liquid inside. So determining quantity of active ingredients and excipients required is where we apply dispensing calculation when it comes to powder and capsule calculation. Now, you should understand that when we say an excipient an excipient is not actually the drug. is not the drug. An excipient is the inactive substance that serves as a vehicle or medium for the drug or other active substances. Just take, for instance, like the capsule. That capsule, that shell is like the excipient that houses the powder inside, and the powder inside is drug. The powder inside is active ingredient, while that capsule, that shell that holds it, is the excipient. Now, everything is measured. So when you determine the quantity of the active ingredient and that vehicle, that inactive substance that is conveying it, that is where we apply, that is another area where we apply dispensing calculation. Either we were looking at the powder or the capsule calculation. Now, having looked at some of these areas where dispensing calculations can be applied, from dosage calculation to concentration or dilution to percentage strength to alligation method to conversion of units to rate of infusion to powder and capsule calculation. Now, what are the importance of dispensing calculation in pharmacy? What can we say are the importance of dispensing calculation in pharmacy? Remember our introduction, we have already said that if there are errors in dispensing calculation, the patient safety will be at risk. The patient safety might be compromised. So now, what are the importance of dispensing calculation? One, dispensing calculation is important to prevent medication errors. It's important what? In the prevention of medication errors. If you get your dispensing calculation wrong, then there could be a lot of errors in the medications you're dispensing. The second one is it ensures correct compounding. It ensures correct compounding and extemporaneous dispensing. Dispensing calculation ensures correct compounding and extemporaneous dispensing. How do we mean? Now, when we say extemporaneous dispensing, we mean dispensing according to the order of prescription, right? So when you get your dispensing calculation correctly, it means that you will dispense according to the order of prescription. If you get your dispensing calculation wrongly, it means that irrespective of what the order of prescription is, because your dispensing calculation has been wrong all the while, you will dispense wrongly. Now, the third point is that it enhances patient compliance through accurate dosing instructions, right? When you get your dispensing calculation correctly, it means that the dosing instruction will be right, and the patient will be more confident to comply to the dosing you have given. But if the dispensing calculation is wrong, and probably you have packed more drugs for the patient, compliance becomes difficult, right? So the three of them quickly, we say that the importance of dispensing calculation in pharmacy practice. One, it prevents medication errors. Two, it ensures correct compounding and dispensing according to the order of prescription. Then three, we say that it enhances patient compliance through accurate dosing instruction. Those are the three main importance of dispensing calculation in pharmacy. Now, remember, our course is dispensing calculation and business practice. So now that I've looked briefly at dispensing calculation, let us also briefly look at the other side of it, business mathematics in pharmacy. Let's look at it too briefly. So that when we are done with this introduction, our subsequent classes will take our time and begin to pick them out one and go deeper. Now we'll say that what is business mathematics in pharmacy? You'll be asking yourself, which one is business mathematics in pharmacy? The aim of pharmacy is not just to produce drugs. When you produce a drug, what next? What happens? You throw it away. Is it not money and resources that have gone in? Pharmacy is a huge line of business. So for you to understand, for you to progress and do well in that area, must make profits. There are basic skills, management skills and financial skills you need to understand and also apply. So having said that already, what is business mathematics in pharmacy? We say business mathematics equips pharmacy technicians and pharmacists with financial and managerial skills necessary for effective pharmacy operations. Since pharmacy practice involves both clinical and business responsibilities, understanding basic financial calculations ensures sustainability and profitability. It means that if you don't understand the business angle of the pharmacy industry, you may not be able to ensure sustainability and profitability. For you to sustain a business, it means that definitely the business is bringing in returns. It means that there are some profits coming in. If it is loss all the time, just a matter of a few months, the business will collapse. So that is where business mathematics comes in into pharmacy operations, right? We say since pharmacy practice involve both clinical and business responsibility, it's not just the clinical part, there is also a business responsibility. Understanding basic financial calculations ensure sustainability and profitability. So let's look at some key areas of business mathematics. Key areas of business mathematics. One of them is profit and loss analysis. Profit and loss analysis. How will you know if you're making a profit or a loss? In pharmacy business, how will you know whether you're making a profit or a loss? The answer is simple. If you minus your selling price, if you minus cost price from your selling price, you will have the answer right at price clearing at you. How do I mean? You have bought an item for 20 naira. That is the cost price. And it's okay. We haven't considered every other thing, logistics and every other thing inside. Let's sell this product for 30 naira. That's the selling price. So if you have the selling price, which is 30 naira, minus the cost price, which is 20 naira, what is the difference? The difference is 10 naira. That 10 naira becomes what? Your profit. Are we together? On the other way around, if you have bought that product for 30 naira, and for whatever reason you don't understand your business mass, and you say, okay, this product, probably you bought it in a very large quantity, and by the time you do your division, do your calculation, you got it wrongly. And you're not thinking that the unit price that you bought it is, your calculation are giving you 30 naira. And you say, okay, let's sell this product for 20 naira. Or let's assume you did your calculation and your calculation gave you a wrong value. So you did not really get the correct value. But in real sense, the cost price is 30 naira. And for whatever reason, you have decided to sell it for 20 naira. What will happen? It means that you'll be running at a loss. Because your cost price is now higher than your selling price. So if you now do 20 minus 30, you have minus 10. So instead of making profit, you're losing money there. So that is where understanding business mathematics comes in, right? So profit and loss analysis, where you use this particular formula, profit equals to selling price minus cost price, you can easily know, okay, I'm making a gain, I'm making a loss. Right? We say there are percentage profit / loss calculation help in pricing strategies. If you are you're not available, you have the new stock, you're not available, and you come back and say, how much are you selling this thing? And they tell you, and you do your calculation, you find out that, okay, this will not work. Because you have done your calculation and noticed that that price will not give you a profit, you will change your pricing, right? And that is where we say that percentage profit / percentage loss calculations help in pricing strategy. It is when you understand this aspect of business practice that you can have a good pricing strategy that will help you to maximize profits, right? Now, there are other instances too where you could have a product. Probably there are competitions in the market. And other people are selling a different price, maybe slightly cheaper than what you're selling. And you're not having customers come to you. So what do you need to do? Use your profit and loss analysis, do your calculation, and probably see, okay, probably this price I'm selling, I have added too much money on top. My profit level is too high. So let me reduce this profit level so I can have good number of customers come to buy from me. So when you understand the profit and loss analysis properly, it will help you in pricing strategy. That is exactly the essence of this particular one, right? So remember, we're looking at key areas of business mathematics, how we can apply it. So the first one we looked at is profit and loss analysis. Let's proceed. Next slide. Markup and margin. Markup and margin. So when you want to look at what the markup is, what do? The formula is simple. Profit divided by cost price times 100. Profit divided by cost price times 100. If you want to look at the margin, it's profit divided by selling price times 100. Now, so these are crucial for setting drug retail prices. These are what? Crucial for setting drug retail prices. Now, just like I explained earlier, the margin there, margin of profits, margin of profits. You can put that 10 by 100, now trying to put it in percentage. When you do your profits divided by your selling price times 100, you now know the margin of the profit you're having on each product. So when you know that, it will help you in setting your retail price, either to increase sales or to retain your customer level. Then for the markup, when you do profits divided by cost price times 100, you know exactly what you need to add or remove from your cost price. No, your cost price is fixed already. So when you do profit divided by cost price times 100, you now know, okay, this is the cost price I have for this product. So let me sell at this particular price. When I sell at this particular price, this is the percentage gain I will make from it. So these two areas are also important in business mathematics, and they help us in setting drug retail prices. Next slide. Discounts and allowances. Discounts and allowances. Another area where we apply business mathematics in pharmacy practices in discounts and allowances. Trade discounts and cash discounts are offered by who? By suppliers. What is actually a discount? A discount. You have been buying goods from a particular company. You have been buying drugs. You have been stocking from a particular company. Probably you have laid a complaint. This particular product you bought had this kind of issues. Maybe it wasn't packaged right, and some of the drugs were damaged. And you return that as a feedback to the company you're buying from. They can say, okay, because of these damages in stock, the other bag we gave to you, let's do some discounts. Let's remove some amount from what we're giving you so that you can recover from the losses you have made earlier. So as a business person too, you need to understand the concept of discounts so that if supplier have offered you a particular discount, you should be able to understand that concept and know, okay, because I've had a discount, have I been able to cover from the previous losses? Right? If you have lost, let's assume you bought something and you bought something of 5,000, and maybe at the end of the day, it's called that 1,000 worth of goods there is bad. And maybe when you have complained to the supplier, and the supplier, instead of giving you a discount of at least 1,000, the supplier gives you a discount of 100 naira or 200, you're still in losses. You're still in losses. So your ability to understand how discount applies to your stock is also a good aspect of business mathematics. So when we proceed, there are formulas that we can use to calculate what have you lost and what are the discounts allowed for you to know that you have recovered your loss. Right? Pharmacists must calculate net cost after discounts. Or in the other way around too. Are you the person that is supplying and you need to give a discount? What margin of discount are you permitted to give to make sure that you don't also run into serious losses? Right? You cannot give a discount that will put you in a deficit. You can give a discount that will ensure that it is a certain percentage of your profits that you have given out, and not all your profits or more than your profits. Because if you give all your profits, it means that you've made no gain, you've made no money. If you give more than your profits, it means that you'll be running into a loss. Right? So when we go for that details, we understand, we'll use formulas to prove how much discount is allowed if we're giving. How much discounts do we expect if we're receiving to make sure we cover our losses or we're making profits or whichever way. And the allowance is there is actually the margin that you're allowed to give to make sure you're not running into losses. Next slide. Another key area we apply business mathematics in pharmacy is on inventory management. Inventory management. When we say inventory management, what exactly do you mean? You're simply taking stock of what you have. Right? You're taking stock of what you have. You're taking record of what you have. And one of the ways you can easily do that in applying the principle of business maths is in the use of economic order quantity. You use the economic order quantity to minimize storage and ordering costs. And you can see in this particular case, the formula is provided. Economic order quantity equal to square root of 2ds divided by h, where d is for demand, s is for ordering cost, that h is the holding cost. When you multiply the demand by the ordering cost and divide it by the holding cost, and all are in square root, you square them, you square the final answer, you will get your economic order quantity. Now, when you're in a business like pharmacy business, just like we have said earlier, understanding the business aspect of it is key to sustainability and what? Profitability. You remember these drugs you're ordering, all the stocks you have expiry dates, right? And where you're storing them, there is also a cost of storage. So your ability to understand the quantity to order and how much you can hold them will also affect your profit margin. So using the formula for inventory management, you'll be able to know, okay, this is the quantity I can order, and this is the amount of time I can hold it to. This is the amount of time I can hold it, because if I'm able to accrue this amount of holding cost, like having held it for too long, plus the ordering costs, and the demand is not high, I may not make profit. I may be running into losses. So inventory management is another key area of business mass that is very, very important and crucial in pharmacy business. Next slide. Break-even analysis. Break-even analysis. Now, this determines the sales volume at which total revenue equals total costs. The break-even analysis determines the sales volume at which total revenue equals total cost. Now, if you're in a business and your total revenue from the business is, let's say, is 5,000, and your total cost is 5,000, have you made profit? No. You're just at equilibrium. You're just marking time. You're marking time. So when you apply the principle of break-even analysis, that will help you to know that if your total cost is 5,000, your total revenue should be above your total cost. If your total cost, let's say, is 5,000, then your total revenue ought to be 6,000 and above for you to be in business. So break-even analysis helps you to understand that part. And there is a certain quantity you can buy or sell at a particular period of time, putting into consideration all other expenses. Let's look at it this other way around. You are required to sell, let's say, 100 cards of paracetamol each day. Assuming that's the only thing you sell. You're required to sell 100 cards of paracetamol each day, right? To enable you cover logistics costs and sundry costs and stay afloat, right? And at the end of the day, we have sold 50 or 60 cards. It means that when you put your total revenue and total cost, you'll be running in deficit. But when you apply break-even analysis, you find out that, okay, if you have sold 100 cards, it means that you're even. So you need to sell above 100 cards per day to stay afloat, to make profit in the business. So that is where the break-even analysis comes in and is very handy. And you can see also that it helps to assess the viability of services. If you're providing services and your total revenue is just equal to your total cost, it means that the business is not viable. You need your revenue to be higher than your costs. So when you use break-even analysis, you'll be able to determine the sales volume at which revenue equals cost. When you determine that level, you need to exceed it for you to be in business proper. For you to be sure that your business is viable and you're making gains. Next slide. Simple and compound interest. Another key area of applied business mathematics in pharmacy practice is simple and compound interest is another key concept. This is relevant in loan repayment, capital investments, and savings. Simple and compound interest, right? Relevant in loan repayment, capital investment, and savings. You have a loan you are paying, you took to expand the business. You have some money you want to put in as part of capital investment, or you want to do a saving, right? You need to use the concept of simple and compound interest to understand exactly how to do it. Excuse me. Understand exactly how to do it and keep your business afloat. Another area is the depreciation of assets. Depreciation of assets. And this involves straight line or reducing balance method used to calculate the depreciation of pharmacy equipment. Just like the title implies, depreciation of assets. Now, when you have equipment that you're using, over time, those equipments will begin to depreciate. So what do? Do you sell them off and replace? Do you keep using until they end up dying completely? So when you use depreciation, when you apply the principle of depreciation of assets, you will be able to know, you'll be able to calculate the depreciation of your equipment, and that will guide you in certain decisions to take. Either to sell off, replace, especially if they are no longer efficient, or probably, okay, if they keep depreciating at this rate, I could still use them for 2 or 3 years, and within that amount of time, I may have made money to buy a new one completely, or I can sell off and replace at this rate. So depreciation of assets, the principle of depreciation of assets will help you to take this particular decision. Next slide, please. Now, what is the relevance of business mathematics in pharmacy practice? What is the relevance of business mathematics in pharmacy practice? You can actually say, what is the importance of business mathematics in pharmacy practice? 1, it ensures sustainable operations of community and hospital pharmacies. It ensures sustainable operation of community and hospital pharmacies. Just like we said before, if you understand the business side of it, of pharmacy business, pharmacy practice, it means that you will be able to sustain you make the business sustainable and profitable. So we're seeing it again. We said one of the relevance is what? That it ensures sustainable operations of community and hospital pharmacies. 2, it enhances decision-making in procurement and pricing. Just like we have been discussing briefly, you find out, see, now, if you understand the business side of pharmacy operation, it will help you, it will enhance your decision-making in procurement and what? And pricing. Just like we were saying when we were looking at profit and loss analysis, right? When you understand the principle of profit and loss analysis and apply it, what happens? Then it means that it will help you to take a proper decision in your pricing. Then the third is that it supports budgeting, financial reporting, and long-term business planning. If you understand business mathematics, it will help you to do proper budgeting, it will help your financial reporting, and it will also guide your long-term planning. Next slide, conclusion and question. Now, dispensing calculation ensures accuracy and safety in medication preparation, while business mathematics ensures the economic sustainability of pharmacy practice. Together, they form the dual pillars of modern pharmacy, safeguarding patients' health while maintaining efficient and financial viable operation. Did that sink in? Dispensing calculation and business mathematics will inform that patients are safeguarded and the business is efficient and financially viable. Are we together? Dispensing calculation and business mathematics together, they form the dual pillar of modern pharmacy, safeguarding patients' health, that dispensing calculation, while maintaining efficient and financially viable operation, that's business maths. Are we together? So questions. What is dispensing calculation and business maths? That's the first one. Second one, why dispensing calculations and business maths? So the second question now is strictly answered here. Why dispensing calculation and business maths? Because they serve a dual purpose of safeguarding patient health and also maintaining efficiency and financial viability of pharmacy operations.